Okay, so welcome, Elaine, to the Zoom room once again for another Art of Letting Go live session. Nice to have you back. So let's jump straight into today's lesson, teaching. So we'll look at today's quote. And that'll lead us nicely into today's lesson. And there's a bit of text to do, so can probably do all of that today. I'll have to rush off. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. Where are we? Let's get that. Okay. All right, so if you can read the headline quote there to kick it off for us.
Yeah. You know you have made the right decision when there is a peace in your heart.
Yeah, a guy called Aldworth Mbalati, who's a South African businessman whom I've actually met in person, said that, which thought was quite deep and profound. So I often get asked the question, how do I know when the guidance I'm getting is coming from my higher self or my ego? And I think this quote summarizes it beautifully. How do you know? Well, all you need to do is ask yourself if the decision leads to a feeling of peace in your heart or not. Am I at peace? Does this feel peaceful? Does it feel calm? If it doesn't feel peaceful, then the guidance is not coming from your higher self, but from your ego or belief in separation. Because fear is what keeps us from listening to the voice of our higher self, which is also known as intuition or Holy Spirit, or in alternative language, remembrance of oneness or perfect love. It wants to guide us to live in an expansive state of mind beyond all fear and therefore beyond the ego. So you might say, well, fear of what? On the surface level, you may think you fear you'll fail and be judged by other people for your failure, or perhaps you fear losing what you currently have in your life, money, possessions, status, special relationships, health, or your whole life, your human life. We all fear death if we're not awakened. But actually what you really fear underneath the surface level of fear is that you'll lose your special identity, otherwise known as your ego. And so your imagined existence as a separate self is threatened by any attempt to overcome fear and live a more inspired life, in which you're open to the flow of life and you're willing to follow its guidance without resistance. That's being miracle-minded. Because fear is just resistance to this flow. That's all it is. It's a state of resistance to the flow of life and love in your life. If you're honest about it, you'll see that. There's just a state of inner resistance whenever we're in fear to this flow state, which is just a product, a taste, shall we say, of heaven. Flow in this world, it's the perceptual counterpart of pure formless awareness or perfect love, a state of pure formless awareness or perfect love, which is heaven. How we experience heaven while we're here and actually still operating in the world. So fear blocks that flow because fear denies heaven, and then it puts us into a state where we're out of flow and we feel like we're under stress. When you're out of flow, then you're in a state of stress, which is dysfunctional, and you can't access that state of flow anymore. So as French author Marcel Proust says in this insightful quote, the true adventure in life is seeing everything with the fresh eyes of forgiveness, untainted by fear, rather than traveling anywhere or undertaking some new adventure. The voyage of discovery is not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. It's a beautiful quote, isn't it? Do you want to read that, actually?
Yeah. The voyage of discovery is not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes.
So many people like travel and, oh, well, you know, if I go somewhere else, I mean, you take, you know, your friend Sally as an example.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go somewhere else. I'll go to another island. It's going to be better there. But it isn't, because she hasn't changed her eyes. She hasn't changed her perspective, her perception. So the true adventure in life is to change your perception. That means you've got to change your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and perceptions about everything. Remember, that is how perception works. If we look at this little diagram in the Instrument for Peace worksheet, which was given to David Hofmeister by Yeshua, we'll see that. So where are we? The levels of mind. There we go. Levels of mind, Instrument for Peace. So what underlies perception is, first of all, a desire or a prayer. A desire to be a separate self, the prayer to be oneself. Then you have a core belief. So I am a separate self, I'm a victim of the world, or I'm unworthy of love, or I am the true self, I'm the Christ, I am love. You know, those are the alternatives. So your core belief, and then you get various thoughts that come from that. Victim thoughts would tend to breed thoughts of, well, I'm unfairly treated here, I'm feeling attacked, I'm feeling abused, I'm feeling hardly done by, I'm feeling resentful, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling frustrated, and so on and so on. And then emotions follow on from that. You know, the emotions, anger, frustration, fear, which then create your perception of any situation. So it's a whole cascade, a stack, if you like, that's built on that fundamental desire to be either a separate self or to be your true self, which is, as it points out here, the miracle. The level of the miracle is at this level where you change your mind. So you've got to go in and change your mind about who you think you are, who you want to be in the situation, because that changes your belief, your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, and your perceptions. So let's go back here. So this is the true adventure, is to change all of that, to go within, to start cutting through the levels of emotion and thought into core beliefs and really getting to know who you really are. That's, you know, that's the true adventure. Having new eyes. Well, you can only change your perception if you start going into your mind and looking at your beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that generate your perception. Perception is at the top level, as is shown here. Perception is a product of your core beliefs, your fundamental desire, your core belief, your thoughts, and your emotions that then stack up on top of that. So in order to change perception, you've got to go all the way and journey, the inward journey into yourself and figure out who you really are. And you know, what do you really believe? And who do you want to be at the end? Now, that's the question, isn't it? Always, in every situation, who do you want to be in this situation? Do you want to be a separate self, dictated to by the desires and fears of the separate identity that you've constructed? Or do you want to be the true self that is perfect love? That is pure formless awareness of perfect love. And how your decision about who you want to be is then going to determine your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and your perceptions, and then your behavior in that situation. When you look at it like this, it's very simple, isn't it? You see, okay, so that's actually how life works. This is a very simple picture of the mind and how that interacts, you know, in the world, and how it creates our life. If you understand this, then you understand in order to transform perception and what you do and what you say on the perceptual level, so those are products of your perception, you have to go and dig into emotion, thought, belief, and you have to go through these layers to get to the very core, which in the end is a choice. It's a desire to be a separate self, or it's a desire to be oneself. That's the choice, and that's the level of the miracle that he's trying to take us to in every situation. So you strip away all of the extraneous factors, and you realize that I have a choice as to who I want to be in this situation. And that's where the miracle happens, because there, at that level, you're changing your mind fundamentally about who you are, which is the whole point. Know thyself. The forgiveness is the process of stripping away all of these layers of false identity, the perceptions, the emotions, the thoughts, the beliefs of the ego, stripping all that away, letting it go, so that you can get to the clarity that actually this is just a choice. I'm not actually conditioned by any of these things. I have a choice right now as to who I want to be in this situation. And so I can completely change my mind right now. I can see it differently. I can choose a different belief system, which will create different thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. And I can do that right now in the holy instant. And that's what the whole course is designed to train us to do. So sometimes a change of location and scene may well happen in this journey if they're helpful. Sometimes changing jobs, changing locations, moving countries. For instance, my journey, I left South Africa. I had a life there. I had a business there. I had friends there, family, and I came to the UK to create another life. And that was definitely part of what I needed to experience to awaken, because it took me out of my comfort zone, and everything that I knew was kind of deconstructed, and went through a bit of a midlife crisis. But what it made me realize was actually you can't rely on any of it. That wasn't really me. That whole character and the identity that I created and the life that he was living wasn't really real, because it all just deconstructed in a year or two. And then I was in something else, and I didn't like the something else at the time. There was a lot of resistance to it. I was like, well, maybe I should just go back and recreate my old life. But you can't. That was for that time, and it's gone. And so you move forward. So sometimes these changes can be helpful in your awakening. And Yeshua says in the Manual for Teachers, Development of Trust, sometimes it seems like changes are called upon in the situation, life situation of God's teachers to facilitate a transformation. Sometimes the plan calls for that to happen because they need that as a catalyst for their awakening. But it's not happening because you're going to go somewhere else and then that's going to fix it. It's part of the Holy Spirit's plan for your awakening, part of your hero's journey, in other words, of overcoming fear, which you've chosen to undertake by doing this program. So then you realize they're not the end goal. These changes are just a part of the process of awakening, and everything is about your awakening. All of those changes are actually helpful if you see them correctly, because they are helping you to awaken to the knowledge of who you really are, which is all we had to learn. Who are you? Know thyself, as the inscription on the temple of Apollo at Delphi said, know thyself, notisiaton in Greek, which is the primary injunction of every authentic spiritual teacher and path over the ages. Know thyself. Who are you really? That's the journey that Marcel Proust is pointing to. Not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Because to have new eyes, you need to have a new identity, don't you? The new eyes is the product of a change of mind, a change of identity within in yourself. So we discussed the issue of how to discern the difference between the guidance of the ego and the Holy Spirit in the bonus discussion sessions. If you want to dive more deeply into that, in a nutshell, though, it's really a feeling. How do you know? You have to learn to recognize the feeling of each and just distinguish the difference. But there's a profound difference between the feeling that you have when you're in the Holy Spirit as opposed to when you're in the ego. And you need to learn that experientially for yourself. So the ego, works on fear, it's anxious. It can seem to be tempting, but there's always a kind of desperation energy. Even if there's a desire, it's sort of desperate desire. That's been my experience with it. It doesn't feel calm, it doesn't feel peaceful, doesn't feel guided. It's more like, no, you got to do this, very urgent. I want you to take immediate action. Holy Spirit is much more gentle, much kinder, but much more certain. You get an impulse from the Holy Spirit, it kind of drops in, and it just feels right. You go, yeah. I'll share an example. I had, I think I mentioned this to you already. So Elaine, you probably heard this story for anyone who's listening to this live stream who hasn't. I had a situation where some lawyer had a deal going on, and there was money owed, and he was saying, no, I'm not going to pay you all the money. I'm going to give you quite a lot less. So I had to take like 140,000 Rand cut. And I was wrestling with it for a couple of days. It's like, well, should I, shouldn't I? Should I fight him? What he's done is unjust, all of those kinds. And then I'm busy chopping vegetables, and it just drops in. It's like, no, you're just going to do it. You're going to send him an email, and you say, fine, I accept your offer. Please pay the money. And that's exactly what I did. It's like, okay, because it just felt peaceful. It was like, okay, all the turbulation the last couple of days was over in that moment. It was like very clear guidance. I felt at peace. It felt right. And, so I acted on it within 24 hours. I had the money. And fortunately, I did that because two months later, the lawyer died. And all the money would have gone into his estate, and I would have got nothing. So, the guidance was there to help me. And that money helped me build this community. So we may not be sitting here if I hadn't listened to the guidance in that moment. So this can be pretty critical on your path to learn to tap in to guidance, because it's the difference between taking a wrong turn and a right turn in the road, in the journey. A wrong turn will just mean you've got the lesson to learn down the line. It'll mean more pain and suffering, and you're going to have to correct it at some point. If you take the right turn, then you often avoid those painful lessons. If I'd taken the wrong turn there, I think it wouldn't have gone well. It would have been a lot of difficulty, and this whole community might have been stillborn. It may not have happened, because that was just prior to the first course I did with Sue and John Reynoldt, who then referred a lot of people, and including you, right? You can buy them indirectly. So yeah, so it can be absolutely critical to learn this, and we've got to learn this experientially for ourselves. No one can. I can talk about the principles. I can talk about my own experience, but you've got to learn this for yourself, and that's your journey. Learn it experientially. So if you can tell the difference between the ego and the Holy Spirit in every situation, you're very clear on that distinction, then you can make the right choice, can't you? Choice then becomes easy. Okay, well, I can tell the difference. I know, what those two are, and I know that the Holy Spirit's the only way to go. It's the only sane choice. So, I'll choose it. The ego, of course, tries to confuse you and try and make itself the only option, or at least muddy the waters enough so that you get confused about what's the ego and what's the Holy Spirit. And in that confusion, you're likely to choose the ego, because confusion and chaos is of the ego. So this is almost key. This is what it comes down to with all this spiritual teaching is in the end, can you discern the difference between the guidance of the ego and the guidance of the Holy Spirit? Because if you can't, then you're going to get lost. The ego is going to be guiding you, and you're going to start making the wrong decision. So going back to lesson 363, this is the final lesson of the course. Just to remind you, we've done this a number of times, haven't we? But this is the final outcome of the whole course. This is where he leaves us. Yeah. So he's saying this is the outcome of the whole mind training. After 360 days, you're going to do this lesson 5 times. And he leaves us in the charge of the Holy Spirit, following guidance. This lesson is all about guidance. So if you can read that, Elaine, in the original and alternative, and then the first paragraph.
Yeah. This holy instant would I give to you, be you in charge, for I would follow you, certain that your direction gives me peace. I am wholly aware now, every moment. I allow my true self to be in charge, and I follow only its guidance, knowing that it brings me peace.
And so there's the point. He's saying it's all peace. What is, how do you know that it's guidance from the Holy Spirit? Is that it's peaceful, that this brings you peace. And if it's not peaceful, then it's not coming from the Holy Spirit. And we need to learn that experientially for ourselves through our life experiences. We've all had times where we followed the Holy Spirit and we felt the peace, and usually the result is a good one, always.
Mhm.
And then we've also had times when we followed the ego. And so we've got to learn through those experiences to discern the difference between them, because it's critical. If you can't tell the difference, then the ego has a hold in your mind. It can get your attention and your allegiance and get you to do various things that it's telling you to do, because you don't know that it's doing that. You don't know that that's the ego and that should be let go of. So that's what this whole mind training is about, to determine the difference between these voices so that you can make a clear decision and make the right-minded decision. And then read number 1, because this is where the rubber meets the road of the whole course. You're saying, okay, so this is actually practically how this course can help you.
What in the alternative?
Yeah, I think read it in both. Yeah, it's pretty short, so.
And if I need a word to help me, you will give it to me. Remembrance of perfect love will give me the words I need to help me. If I need a thought, that will be he also give. That will he also give. It will also give me a thought whenever I need one. And if I need only stillness and a tranquil open mind, stillness and an open mind, these are the gifts I will receive of him. And if I need only stillness and a tranquil open mind, these are the gifts I will receive from it. He is in charge by my request. It is in charge by my request. And he will hear and answer me, because he speaks for God and Fatherland, his Holy Son. And it will hear and answer me, because it speaks for pure formless awareness of perfect love, my source and its innocent extension.
So what's he saying here?
Just follow the guidance of the remembrance of perfect love, and you can't go wrong.
Yeah. Exactly. And that it'll help us with words, with thoughts, with actions, or just simply being still and quiet. And this is the last lesson in his course. After 360 days of mind training, this is where he leaves us with a very simple lesson. It doesn't go into the metaphysics. It's not talking about, any of that. That's all in the background now. The foundation that allows you to live in this way. So it's a very practical course. The outcome of it is to live in this way, in a guided, surrendered flow state, miracle-minded, and to do that all the time. And mind training is necessary because most people can't do this unless they've gone through some significant mind training. Requires a lot of vigilance of your thoughts to get to this point where you're completely guided. And you know that, the Holy Spirit, you know what it is, you know what the voice is like, you know that it's always going to guide you truly, and you listen to it. And you're not tempted by the ego anymore. So this is the final outcome of the course, which isn't woo-woo and out there, and it's actually very practical, isn't it? This is like, okay, yeah, this sounds like quite a good way to live. And then, your ultimate salvation, going to heaven, will look after itself. If you live your life in this way, God takes the final step when you're ready, and you go back. You return to heaven when you're ready. And he's saying to us, you know, I can't teach you that. So he's saying to us, I can't teach you this step. We look at it in the Holy Trinity diagram. I can't teach you how to do this, to go from the true self into God, because God takes that step. But what I can teach you is how to live in a miracle-minded state, to have true perceptions, to be completely identified with your true self, so that you are prepared for the coming of this awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love. And that's what he means by God takes the final step. So it's to get us ready for the full awakening and the final letting go of the body, and you know, going back into our true awareness, which is our true nature forever, for all eternity. Okay, so any questions about that?
No, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Thank
All
you.
right. So that discussion was a good one, if I recall. Definitely worth watching that, listening to that. So that brings us to our live session, which you're in, and our review lessons. So there's an introduction to the review lessons. We'll just read those quickly, just to prepare. It's mainly just instructions. So if you can,
Yeah,
you can
we are
read
now ready.
these. Yeah, let me just record what it is. Okay, so this is introduction to the next series of 10 review lessons. We're just starting today. So if you can read that paragraph by paragraph, we won't have to spend too much time on it because most of it's pretty functional.
We are now ready for another review. We will begin where our last review left off and cover 2 ideas each day. The earlier part of each day will be devoted to one of these ideas, and the latter part of the day to the other. We will have one longer exercise period and frequent shorter ones in which we practice each of them. The longer practice periods will,
Yeah, so they're just saying, you know, do it once a day, a longer meditation, and then frequent shorter ones, ideally every hour. Do the first idea in the first part of the day, maybe up to about 3 p.m. And then depending on when you wake up, and then in the latter part of the day, so that'd be the afternoon and evening, you'll practice the second one. Okay, carry on.
The longer practice periods will follow the general form. Take about 15 minutes for each of them and begin by thinking about the ideas for the day and the comments that are included in the assignments. Devote some 3 or 4 minutes to reading them over slowly, several times if you wish, and then close your eyes and listen.
Yeah, so giving us some instructions for meditating, essentially a longer meditation. But notice he never says really longer than, I think there's one occasion in the course where he says we're going to do half an hour. That's about the max. He's not asking us to do, you know, extended hours and hours, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, which I think is really wise, because he's giving us something that's doable. Said, okay, you got to do hour, 2 hours a day. People say, no way. But 15 minutes, yeah, okay, I can do that. Not that long. Because he knows that it's the quality of that time. You can go really deep in that 15 minutes, connect with the idea, connect with your spirit, then that 15 minutes is enough. And then you top yourself up during the rest of the day. Okay, you want to carry on?
Repeat the first phrase of the exercise period if you find your mind wandering. Try to spend the major part of the time listening quietly, but attentively. There is a message waiting for you. Be confident that you will receive it. Remember that it belongs to you and that you want it. Right?
Yeah.
Do
So
not. Yeah.
saying is listen, this is about giving the time is necessary to quiet your mind to listen, because in the listening you can hear the voice of the Holy Spirit. You can listen to guidance. There's a message waiting for you. Be confident you'll receive it, and that actually this is what you want. You're opening yourself through this practice, to guidance. Okay, carry on. Number 4.
Do not allow your intent to waver in the face of distracting thoughts. Realize that whatever form such thoughts may take, they have no meaning and no power. Replace them with your determination. Where did that go?
Sorry.
Determination to succeed. Do not forget that your will has power over all fantasies and dreams. Trust it to see you through and carry you beyond them all.
Okay, so it's talking about distractions, which are inevitable if you're meditating. Often you get distracting thoughts. Your mind goes wandering off and you start thinking about some situation in your life or person or event, or you're thinking about the past or the future on the past future channel rather than present. And, he's asking us to just be vigilant for those. Realize that these thoughts have no meaning and therefore no power, and that you're determined to succeed. Do not forget that your will has power over all fantasies and dreams. Trust it to see you through and carry you beyond them all. So he's giving us a little pep talk, a bit of encouragement, and some instruction in how to meditate in this review, in this introduction to the review. Okay, number 5.
Regard these practice periods as dedications to the way, the truth, and the life. Refuse to be sidetracked into detours, illusions, and thoughts of death. You are dedicated to salvation. Be determined each day not to leave your function unfulfilled.
Oh, so yeah, I like these these introductions to reviews, because it's coaching. He's kind of saying to us, okay, so we're going to talk about not so much about the content now. We're going to talk about the way that you're going to practice. He's giving us encouragement to carry on the path, to deepen our practice, to not get distracted, to not allow these detours, illusions, and thoughts of death to sidetrack us, that we dedicated to salvation or awakening. So, let's be determined, carry on with the practice. And because he knows you are going to have difficulty, especially if you're new at meditation, you start this. Of course, you're going to get distractions. And these various ego thoughts come up. You're saying, well, just remember that that's going to happen. Remember that you're determined to awaken beyond all else. Above all else, you want to awaken. That's your only true goal and desire in life. And then number 6, he talks about the shorter practice periods as well. Read that.
Reaffirm your determination in the shorter practice periods as well, using the original form of the idea for general applications and more specific forms when needed. Some specific forms are included in the comments which follow the statement of the ideas. These, however, are merely suggestions. It is not the particular words you use that matter.
So he's emphasizing we must practice repeatedly, and these specific forms are there to be used because they're helpful, but we can vary it. It doesn't really matter exactly what the words are. It's more the intention. The words are just a guide to express the intention. So he's using affirmations really to train us. mind training through affirmations is what these review lessons particularly are about. Short, sweet, simple affirmations, but because of that, there's a lot of power in them. And that's why we review, because the reviews, although you're covering the same idea as we did originally, it's in a different form. And so the idea has a chance to penetrate into your mind, maybe on a deeper level. And this is what you do in a good study course, don't you? You review. You don't just have content. There's okay, well, I've got to review it to learn it. I've got to review it. So it's exactly, this is why it's called a course. It's a course in mind training. Designed with course principles. How do you design a good course? Well, you would have reviews, wouldn't you? You'd have a text, you'd have a theory, which is the text, you'd have practice of that theory, which is the workbook, you'd have an FAQ section, which is the manual for teachers. You'd have a clarification of terms, because there's a whole terminology and language. That's exactly how he's constructed the course. All right, so let's have a look then at today's lesson. This is the first review lesson, number 81, which is reviewing ideas, lesson 61 and 62. So if you can read that, Elaine.
I am the light or true awareness of the world. Forgiveness or letting go is my function as the light or true awareness of the world.
So the originals were, I'm the light of the world. Translate that as I'm the true awareness of the world. Just wasn't enough space to do two different translations. So I just said all. So forgiveness is my function as the light of the world was the original, or we've translated as letting go is my function as the true awareness of the world. So light is awareness, which makes a lot more sense. I was like, well, what is this light? Am I supposed to see a light? But actually light is just an awareness. It's more about a feeling of lightness. Enlightenment means that you're not burdened by the heavy dark thoughts of the ego, and has nothing to do with physical light. Although sometimes one can see, when one can see lights. I've had experiences of, just like a pure yellow light, and you just see that for a while. It doesn't last very long, maybe a minute or two, and then it fades away. But really, it's more about the feeling, which is an awareness. Feeling is speaking directly into awareness. They're saying, this letting go is my only function as the true awareness of the world. My only function is to be in this awareness. To remain in this awareness, I need to let go of anything that seems to sabotage that awareness. Okay, so ideas for review. You can read number 1. I think just read it. Read it in the original and the alternative. It's pretty short.
I am the light of the world. How holy am I, who have been given the function of lighting up the world. I am the true awareness of the world. How wholly aware am I, who have been given the function of bringing pure formless awareness into the world. Let me be still before my holiness. I am still before my pure formless awareness. In its calm light, let all my conflicts disappear. In this calm awareness, I let my conflicts disappear. In its peace, let me remember who I am. In its peace, I remember who I am. And that paragraph again, or?
Yeah, I think read it in the alternative.
I am the true awareness of the world. How wholly aware am I, who have been given the function of bringing pure formless awareness into the world. I am still in my pure formless awareness. In this calm awareness, I let all my conflicts disappear. In its peace, I remember who I am.
Yeah, so thoughts on that? It's beautiful, isn't it? And what I like about these short ones is that they're so short. They're just like the sutra kind of form. So in ancient India, they had these sutra teachings, which weren't long. It was just a very brief, like one sentence, two sentences, a bit like the kind of haiku poetry idea. Very short, brief pointers to help you to go into the state. So not a lot of words, but just you could read the words and then contemplate them, and it would take you into the state that they point to, which is peace. And that's exactly what he's doing here in these reviews. It's in that tradition of the sutras. Yeah, so any thoughts on that, on what he's saying?
Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I do like that one. I am the true awareness of the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So the true awareness, the reason I haven't, so sometimes I translate light as pure formless awareness. Notice function of lighting up the world, function of bringing pure formless awareness into the world. But as pure formless awareness translates in this world, it's true, it becomes true awareness. So look at it from in the Holy Trinity diagram. It's pure formless awareness here. Then when it comes into our minds and as the true self and is useful in perception, guiding our perception, it becomes true awareness, because it's no longer pure formless awareness. Do you see that? Because pure formless awareness is pure and formless. There's nothing else. But it derives from this awareness. It's still able to stay connected to this awareness. It hasn't lost touch with that. So there's this underlying peace, but it's also able to perceive what's going on in this crazy world of time and space. But now the perceptions are true. True awareness creates true perceptions or Christ visions, which are the miracles or the corrections or the forgiveness or the letting go, whatever you call it. And your true awareness is very useful in this world because it can perceive, and with perception you can then it can guide your words and your actions. So it can guide you, on the path of walking the journey of this life. Whereas pure formless awareness doesn't even know about the journey of a life. It doesn't even know about this life and this world. So it's kind of stepped down into true awareness, which then is the light of the world. And he's saying the light of the world because the idea is that it's in the world, but it's not of the world. It's coming from outside the world. It comes into the world in a form that is useful, that enlightens us, that wakes us up from our sleep, which is why he calls it the light of the world. Okay. So I am the light or the true awareness of the world. And then he gives us some specific forms for applying this idea when special difficulties seem to arise. So different forms of it. He's starting to help us to just change the game and give us different forms that help us to tap into this awareness. And he's given us 3 different forms here because one form might work better than another for you. So then use that. Or he said, don't get attached to the form. The words aren't that important. It's more about the intention behind the words. So you can vary the form of the words if you want to. Okay, so having said that, if you can read those 3 ideas in the original and the alternative line by line.
Let me not obscure the light of the world in me. Let the light of the world shine through this appearance. This shadow will vanish before the light.
Okay, so again, look at the idea of light. It sounds lovely, but what does it actually mean? What does the light of the world actually mean? I think a lot of people get confused because they actually think in physical terms. It means some kind of light, and I should be seeing light. but it's actually pointing to awareness. So read the translations and see how that changes those three statements for you.
I will not obscure the true awareness of the world in me. I let the true awareness of the world shine through this appearance. This limiting belief and or painful emotion will vanish in my pure formless awareness.
So that's the shadow. The shadow will vanish before the light. It's limiting belief and or painful emotion. So often belief goes with an emotion. So the shadow will vanish in my pure formless awareness. Yeah, of course it will, because in pure formless awareness, that doesn't exist. So the awareness is key. The awareness is the light that shines through all these appearances, that helps you let go of them, shines through the appearances, and don't block it. Don't block this awareness by holding on to your misperceptions. Holding on to the shadows and living in the darkness or the shadows of these thoughts that are not pure formless awareness, that are very can be very dark and painful and twisted. Okay, so any other thoughts on that?
No, that's good.
All right, so going on to the second lesson, which kind of follows on from the first one. Still taking the light of the world idea and then just adding something to it. So if you can read that in the original and alternative, just do it line by line. So go original one sentence, then alternative one sentence.
Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. Letting go is my function as the true awareness of the world. It is through accepting my function that I will see the light in me. It is through accepting my function that I will experience the pure formless awareness in me. And in this light will my function stand clear and perfectly unambiguous before my sight. And in this true awareness, my function will stand clear and perfectly unambiguous in my perception. My acceptance does not depend on my recognizing what my function is, for I do not yet understand forgiveness. My acceptance does not depend on my recognizing what my function is, for I do not understand letting go. Yet I will trust that in the light I will see it as it is. Yet I will trust that in my true awareness I will perceive it as it is.
Right, and then the alternative.
I'll just read the whole lot, yeah. Letting go is my function as the true awareness of the world. It is through accepting my function that I will experience the pure formless awareness in me. And in the true awareness, my function will stand clear and perfectly unambiguous in my perception. My acceptance does not depend on my recognizing what my function is, for I do not yet understand letting go. Yet I will trust that in my true awareness, I will perceive it as it is.
So what's he saying here?
Well, just once we've accepted our function and we experience the pure formless awareness in us, in this true awareness, it'll stand clear and just unambiguous, and our acceptance doesn't depend on recognizing what this function is, because we don't really understand, but it's saying we trust that in our true awareness we will perceive it as it actually is. So just leave it all up to our true awareness.
Yeah. I don't fully understand it. I think, there's a key. So do I really understand letting go? No, but will be willing to do it. When we start on the journey, we have no idea. We don't really know what we're doing. We don't really fully understand it. So it's saying, okay, I understand that, but just be willing to practice. Just do the lessons. You don't have to understand yet. That's the whole point. The understanding will come as you practice the lessons. Otherwise, the course would be circular. So, well, I can't assume you have the understanding and then design a course to give you that understanding. You don't have that understanding yet, but by practicing the lessons, you will gain the understanding. So just, this is the willingness here. Just be willing to practice. And I trust that more and more understanding will come as you practice. The more you let go and the more you experience its benefits, the more you start to understand what letting go is, how it works, and the immense benefits of it. But initially we don't. But I will trust that, in my true awareness, I will come to perceive it as it is. Or maybe put in there, come to perceive. To perceive it as it truly is. Yeah, understand. You better come to understand it as it truly is. The more I practice it, the more I'll understand it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So you only learn this experientially. If people say, well, I really understand forgiveness, they would have had to have practiced that. You can't say I really understand forgiveness just from theory. Oh, well, I understand, in theory how you forgive. Maybe I've, studied the course or some other teachings. But have you actually forgiven something that's really difficult? That's how you learn it. It's experiential. So you need you see why it's so important then to have the things to forgive. The issues, the problems, the situations, the traumas, the dramas are necessary to practice this forgiveness or letting go with. Otherwise, it's just theory and you don't really understand anything. It's a purely, intellectual framework without any practice of it is not worth very much. It's a starting point, but it's the practice of this forgiveness or letting go that then reveals your true awareness to you. The more you do the letting go, the more your true awareness is being activated and comes to the fore. Until eventually your true awareness is you. You go, oh, that's me. I get it. Know thyself. And the letting go has revealed your true self. So it's very simple, but it's hugely profound. I mean, this simple practice reveals everything about you, about life, about the world. It has the answer to all your questions. So why do we resist it? The answer lies in one simple thing that you've got to do, which is to forgive or let go without exception. Why do we resist it? It's so powerful. I guess we don't understand it fully to start with. And the ego, I remember someone saying to me once, oh, yeah, no, forgiveness is good, but there's 650 other techniques you can use. I was like, really? But she was confused because actually all of those techniques are part of forgiveness. You're doing meditation, you're doing breath work, you're doing any kind of cognitive behavioral therapy, you're doing anything that's genuinely healing is helping the person to let go of some of their ego, isn't it? Look at your body therapist. If it's truly healing, you're helping someone to let go of some of that ego identification when they come in to have the therapy. So they leave a little bit lighter and clearer than when they arrived. That's why it's healing. And I guess you had a reaction to the sports massage you did because that didn't happen, did it?
No, no. He
There
seemed
was no,
happy enough, but yeah, it is,
there,
yeah.
there was no genuine healing. It was just on a body
No,
level
not
because nothing
really.
changed in the person's mind.
No, no. Yeah, you're right.
Whereas a genuinely healing session, something is shifted in that person's mind, and they are less identified with their ego at the end of the session. And that might be a very subtle shift. It's not obvious, but there's
Mm,
something that's just shifted, and then that's part of the healing. And they will feel better because of that on a deeper spiritual level, not just a body level. It might reflect in the body, and they're like, oh, well, actually, I've had a body release as well, and some of that neck pain is gone or whatever. But actually, there's a deeper healing in the mind, and that's always
mm,
what you're aiming for, is a true healer.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
healing of the mind and not the body, and the body just reflects any healing that takes place in the mind. Okay, and then again, he's given us some specific forms for this idea, three ideas. So if you read those sentence by sentence in the original, then go to the alternative after you've read the original.
Let this help me learn what forgiveness means. I will let this help me learn what letting go means. Let me not separate my function from my will. I will not separate my function from my true awareness. I will not use this for an alien purpose. I will not use this for a false purpose. And I will let this help me learn what letting go means. I will not separate my function from my true awareness. I will not use this for a false purpose.
So they're all powerful affirmations reminding you of the truth in any situation. Oh, let this help me learn what letting go means. Okay, the situation might seem to be dire, but if I say I will let this situation help me learn what letting go means, I'm seeing its true purpose. This is so that I can understand experientially what letting go means and the power of it by practicing it in the situation. So it's an opportunity to practice. That's how we've got to perceive it. Otherwise, we see it as a disaster. But perceived correctly, it's just another opportunity to let go and to learn, how to let go and what letting go means. I'll not separate my function from my true awareness. Okay, so I'm not going to give myself another function. My only function is to be in this awareness. If I divorce my function from that, then I've got another purpose. Then I'm lost. Then the ego's in charge again. And I will not use this situation for a false purpose. So some very clear affirmative statements. And well, that's what I love about the Course. It's very clear, isn't it? These are very clear, simple, direct statements that help you to come into your right mind, which is what they're for.
You haven't got any sound, have you?
Okay.
Yeah.
So any other thoughts on these two lessons? You can see the connection between them. This one starts off with the light of the world, or the true awareness of the world, that I am that, and then letting go is my function as that. In order to know that I am that, I need to let go. Because I'm not always aware that I'm the light of the world. So the way to become more and more aware of that is through forgiveness or letting go. That's what he's saying. So you could take these two lessons together as the whole Course. It's a kind of a little microcosm of the whole Course, isn't it?
Mm.
First one is the statement of what you truly are. I am the light of the world. That's my true identity. And the second one is, okay, well, how do I remember that? I remember that by letting go in this world. And that is my only function in the world. So that this works at a level 1 identity. This is talking about this. I'm the light of the world. It's talking about being the true self or the Christ, which is obviously connected to pure formless awareness of perfect love. And then forgiveness or letting go is the process of moving into that. So that's the upward arrow, saying, okay, I'm going to take whatever these experiences in time and space are, and I'm going to reinterpret them from the perspective of my true self, this true awareness, and I'm going to perceive them differently. So, these two lessons encapsulate this whole process. If you just applied these two, they would be enough to get you home. Or they'd be enough to get you back to being fully identified with the true self, which is the light of the world. And then prepared for the awakening into pure formless awareness of perfect love. Okay. So 2 good lessons. Shall we do a meditation on these?
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. Okay. So just making yourself comfortable. Sitting in your favorite meditation posture. With your back straight, cup your hands in your lap, or put your hands, palms facing upwards on either thigh. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Notice how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench your sphincter muscle. It's the root lock in yoga to lock the energy in. Draw the energy up your spine to your heart center. Put one hand on your heart to connect with your heart space. Draw the energy all the way up into the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale. So scan your mind. Noticing thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on. Anything that seems dark, so that's limited awareness. Anything that feels unpleasant. Maybe that's some fear or irritation, anger, perhaps even rage. She says at some point, even a minor irritation just to cover for intense rage. Just be aware of whatever's coming up. Last deep breath in, kind of breathe into it to bring the light in. This is just your true awareness, and say, I am the light of the world, or I am the true awareness of the world. I am the light or true awareness of the world. I am the light or true awareness of the world. How wholly aware am I? We've been given the function of bringing pure, formless awareness into the world. In my pure, formless awareness, I am still. In this calm awareness, I let all my conflicts disappear. So repeat these words. In my pure, formless awareness, I am still. In this calm awareness, I let all my conflicts disappear. So exhale, just blow out any of these conflicted thoughts that you became aware of when you started the meditation. Imagine they're like dark clouds or black smoke leaving you. You blow them out, letting them go to the nothingness they really are. And going, gone. All the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And you rest here in the still, calm, peaceful state of awareness. Say, in its peace, I remember who I am. In this peace of pure formless awareness, I remember who I am. So sink into the peace. And if anything disturbs that peace, remind yourself that you don't want to obscure the light of the world or the true awareness of the world in me. I will not obscure the true awareness of the world in me. I let the true awareness of the world or the light of the world shine through this appearance. Just blow it away. Imagine it's like a dark cloud. You exhale it out and you let it all go. To the nothingness that it really is. And let the true awareness of the world shine through this appearance. And this limiting belief or painful emotion will vanish in my pure formless awareness, in the light, in my pure formless awareness. Some sense of peace coming in as you blow out all these dark thoughts and emotions, as in they're like dark clouds, just being blown away by the breeze of your breath, just leaving, going, gone, just dissipating into the nothingness they really are. Lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. On to the next lesson. Letting go is my function as a true awareness of the world. Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. So say that to yourself as you breathe in. Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. I prefer the alternative. Letting go is my function as the true awareness of the world. So it is through accepting my function that I will experience the pure formless awareness in me. The light on the pure formless awareness in me. So repeat these words after me as affirmations. Breathing in again as you inhale. Then put one hand in your heart center to really connect to the message of these words. And then as you Repeat the words you would exhale out through the mouth as you speak. So let's try again. It's through. So let's start from the top. Letting go as my function, as the true awareness of the world. Exhale and repeat those words. Letting go as my function, as the true awareness of the world. So accepting my function, that I will experience the pure formless awareness or the light in me. Say that as you exhale and breathe in again. As you're breathing in this light that helps you. So in this light or true awareness, my function will stand clear and perfectly unambiguous in my perception. My acceptance does not depend on my recognizing what my function is. I do not yet understand forgiveness or letting go. Breathing in again. Yet I will trust that in the light or in my true awareness, I will see it as it is. In other words, I will come to understand it as it truly is. So the more I let go, the more I forgive. The more I will understand what my function truly is. So letting go reveals our function, our higher purpose in this world. Helps us to be happy. Healthy. Calm, peaceful. One function, one simple function will do this, all of this for you. So some specific forms for using this idea might include. So bring to mind any issue that's still troubling you, problem in your mind, it's current or past, something that you're dealing with right now. Say as you breathe in, I will let this help me learn what letting go means. And let this situation help me to learn what letting go really means, what forgiveness means. And I learned that experientially. Exhale the truth of that. So whatever the situation is, whatever the trauma, it's there to help you to let go. I will not separate my function from my true awareness. I will not separate my function from my will. It's original. I will not separate my function from my true awareness. And I'm not going to disconnect these. But my function comes from my true awareness. My function is to be the light of the world, to be in my true awareness, in other words, rooted in pure formless awareness that gets translated into true awareness, which is the awareness of my true self, which is the Christ. And finally, I will not use this situation or person, circumstance, event, whatever it is, for a false purpose. Say that with conviction. I will not use this for a false purpose, i.e., to perpetuate a separate self concept, identity that doesn't exist, to play out its drama, to feed it various negative thoughts and emotions like fear and guilt and anger and attack thoughts. I will not do that. I will not use this for a false purpose. I will use it only for what it's for. Just to let go. So one more time, claim your true identity. Say, I am the light of the world. I am the true awareness of the world. Breathe this in to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light of your true awareness. And the light of the world. Just feel into that. Allow this awareness to come into your mind, to bring you peace. And comments on the previous lesson, specific forms. So let the light of the world shine through any appearance. Blow it out. If it comes in, blow it out like a dark cloud. Just a little cloud that obscures this great light. A bit like clouds in this world. They can't really touch the sun. It's on another level. Seem to obscure it temporarily, but the sun is always there. Same way your awareness is always there. And let go of any of those clouds. Imagine you just soaring beyond them into clear blue sky of your true awareness and the light. Light of your source. Sink into that light. Allow that light to permeate through your entire awareness. There's nowhere that the light is not. You are this light or awareness. You are the clear blue sky of this awareness and the light of your source shining through it. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. You just breathe, relax, be still. And stay in the light of true awareness for a couple of minutes of deep, peaceful silence. In this peace, remember who you really are. It's what you have to do for the next couple of minutes of deep silence. Okay, so just coming back into an awareness of your body, breath, senses, and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Scan your mind. And any darkness, any negative thoughts, any shadows. Remind yourself that I am the light of the world. I am the true awareness of the world. And forgiveness or letting go is my only function. So the shadow will vanish before the light of my true awareness. When you exhale, have a sense of letting it go, releasing like a dark cloud or black smoke, just blowing it away. The breeze of your breath, the cloud cannot obscure the light. The light of your true awareness is like the sun, that even if there's heavy bank of dark clouds, it's still there. It's just obscured. From my perspective on Earth, it seems not to be there, but it's still there, blazing away as it has done for billions of years. The same way your awareness has always been there, ever present, never fading, immortal, unchangeable, eternal. I have a sense of that light, that awareness, being with you always. It's the one thing that can never leave you. It's the one thing you cannot lose. Fundamental awareness. This is God. This is yourself. Who you really are. So on the count of 2, just noticing the weight of your body pressing down into the chair and your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling with your hands and touching. Maybe there's a subtle flow of air in your skin. Notice that. Breathe that air in. Notice any smells. You do that. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. Notice that. Notice what you're hearing. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state of mind. State of mind without illusions, in which only the truth is true. Anchor the state in. Intention to stay here in the light of true awareness for the rest of the session, the rest of the afternoon and evening. And you need to top yourself up with This lesson, remind yourself frequently using now in the afternoon. So the second lesson, that forgiveness or letting go is my function as the light or true awareness of the world. And use one of the breath breaks that I've sent you to do that. In the community, check on the Telegram group. And it will help you stay in the light, connected to your source. So it is said and so it is done. And so now on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. Just opening your eyes. Taking a few moments to look around the room. Just orient yourself back into the room after this deep meditation. It's a minute just observing in this clear awareness. So notice any object. For a few seconds, notice that you're very peaceful and that your fundamental awareness has not changed compared with a few minutes ago when you were in the meditation. It's actually still there, it's still peaceful, still calm. Look around at something else, notice that the same awareness is still there. No matter what you're perceiving, your underlying awareness is unchanged. You can close your eyes, drop into that awareness as you close your eyes. Open your eyes, look again at something else. Notice that it's all the same awareness, or light, as the lesson calls it, but this is your true awareness. And that awareness is unchanged and unchangeable, no matter what happens on the level of form, no matter what you're perceiving, no matter where you are, where you go, who you're with, what you're doing. It's the same awareness. Fundamental awareness hasn't changed one bit. This is your true self. This is your true awareness. This is God. Known now, not as some theoretical construct in the mind that's somewhere out there that's separate from you, but as your own awareness, as your own felt experience. And that is what it means to know the truth. That's what it means to live in the light of this true awareness. So I hope this meditation has helped you do that and will set you up for a very connected, aware day and the rest of your day. That brings us to the end of the meditation and the first part of the session. Okay, so Elaine, you happy to go into the text?
I think I'll have a bit of a break because I'm sort of had a bit of a doze there, so I'm going to have a freshen up. That seemed to doze a bit there, I'm afraid. I do need to freshen up a bit. So I don't know what time have you got? Yeah, you see, I want to feed the dogs and have a bit of a, just.
Okay, if you want to come back in an hour or something, or half an hour.
Let's have a look. Yeah, be about an hour because so that I can get all my stuff done. But it depends on what time you've got.
Yeah, I don't have
a lot of time, no.
So we can do 6 o'clock if you want.
Yeah.
30,
What, for an hour? What time do you have to? What time's your family?
I don't have any. I'm not doing any family things. So yeah, we can do an hour to an hour and a half at 6 if you want.
Only thing is, trouble is I'm making the tea. It would have to be a little bit later than that. It would have to be about 6:30, really, realistically.
Yeah. Okay. So make it 7 p.m.
Yeah, to be honest, that's then giving plenty of time to get things done, and that would be better. Yeah. And hopefully John will join us.
Maybe you will, yeah. I'll put a message on the group.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's great.
Again, see you later.
Okay. See you later. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, so that's a wrap for the moment. If you enjoyed that session, go to lifepool.com to sign up to get some of the material I shared, the information I shared in the email, the daily quote, and there's a related lesson from the course, and I always give you a short mini meditation or breath break, as I call them, to practice the lesson. So that's all free for you on Telegram. If you go to lifepool.com, you can sign up and also find out how you can join these live calls. So yeah, do that, and you can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified whenever I go live, which is 5 or 6 times a week. So I hope you'll do one of those things, and I hope to connect with you in person soon. Thanks for watching, listening, and namaste. Which means the light in me acknowledges and honors that same light in you.